encourage you. We have a lot of work to do, but encourage. Let me give you some funny things. I got to share this. So there are quite of us in the house that are house members, and we're on a text group, and I thought you'd get a kick out of it. So the Collin County Democrats, you got to. They have a new rule in memory of George Floyd. I mean, the state rep that represents Collin County said this. New rule: a white person cannot be hired as a police officer, sheriff, or constable for the next 5 years.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
I'm just like, let's get that out, right? I mean, so look, this is kind of funny. So, but look, we're going to get through this. We think a lot of this is due to a lot of what we've been doing, these shutdowns and lockdowns, and we want to continue to encourage our law enforcement people. On the way up, I was listening to Fox News on the radio. I'm not watching on TV. There's no TV in the truck. And apparently, officers are being, getting cement poured in bottles and throwing at them. One was stabbed in the neck last night, and the commissioner is the commissioner, they call him the commissioner, who's over the police department in New York City, is very, very concerned because it doesn't seem like the city leadership, like the mayor,
Right.
and those folks are really coming out and telling folks, to stop this. There's a thought that they're actually encouraging it.
Right.
With all of what's going on, Janice, today, before I got in the truck, I didn't know this was going to happen. Not that I should have been informed, I guess. But if you've ever been in the Dallas airport, I think there was a Texas Ranger statue.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was taken down. Let me tell you the standard to do that. Yeah, that was just taken down. Somebody has wrote a book, not like a whole lot of books, but a book that's coming out in a couple of days saying that the Rangers have been involved in some not so glorious history in the past. So a book. I thought that was interesting. The newspaper article said a book is coming out. So that's the standard now. And maybe somebody can write a book about the Democrat Party back and forth.
Right. Yeah.
Before we can start. So look, we'll get through this. A lot of the members, we talked about some of the recent developments. We are concerned about Senator Hardin. I know some people will say Quinnipiac poll is kind of tilted to the left, but we've known for some time that Hardin is in a real tough fight, and one member pointed out that 43% of Republicans are disapprove. That's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, so we've got a lot to do. Senator Hardin has a lot to do, and what concerns us about that, he's at the top of the ticket. And then after him, I believe it's our Supreme Court, Texas Court of Appeals folks. Okay, and I thought it was, and that Texas Court of Criminal Appeals is very important. That's the last court of resort on criminal issues. And I thought it was interesting yesterday on this will tickle you too. A newspaper reporter lady called me up. I need to look up the article. She interviewed me for about 30 minutes and said, look, this doesn't really have anything to do with what we're talking about. It was about George Floyd and all that. But she said, I just want to get your point, your thought about it. I said, what? She says, there's been a call to, I think they've done this in Minnesota too, to defund the police. And some of this stuff is kind of funny to me. I mean, and I hope they run on it. Okay, that's why. And we told them we're not really interested in getting behind that. So it's very important those two cases. And if you're in business, that Texas Supreme Court is the last court of resort for civil issues. Getting sued if you're in business. One thing that we've talked about in the legislature over the past few weeks, and you think about Tim here in his business, coming out, we're merging out, and if someone walks out of here, we know it won't happen, but someone walks out of here and says, well, you know, I got COVID, and the reason I'm gonna just come and pursue the Catfish Cabin, matter of fact, I'm gonna put the Hardin County Republican Party on the line too, because they brought a whole lot of people. And to my business people, we're seeing those cases filed now. They are trickling through the civil justice system. So it's very concerning with Cornyn. He's got to get his campaign ramped up. Then we have those justices right there, and we lost a lot of those justices in the intermediate state appellate courts. A lot of them. Some of those appellate courts switch majority Democrat. Okay, so we have that. So this is very serious. But look, I feel real good about our chances. I feel real good about the president. And on the last note, I know many of you have talked to me about Chapter 418. That's the disaster emergency chapter. I think we'll have a lot of members that are interested in looking at that. There'll be a lot of bills filed. We're still working with the governor on the nursing homes. I know many of you called me about nursing home access to senior family members. We think the governor and his staff are looking at some data that a lot of our seniors are passing away, but we think our people got a good perspective. So to wrap this up on my part, and I'll probably filter out up here and run some more errands before night comes, Janice. We just need you to just really call and talk to the governor. I know my chairman here, I've sent him some data points, and he's like, no, not.
All that data's wrong.
All that data's wrong. But I will tell you that I kind of think it's trending that way. I think, generally there's a consensus of Republicans and independents that think the governor is making the right moves. Okay? Now, I'm just saying, I'm a friend of the governor, been a friend of the governor a long time, but I think he's looking at the same thing, and they generally think that. So I think a lot of the conservatives in the legislature are saying that we need to find a way to rekindle our discussions with the governor and let him know that we are confident, we're faithful, we appreciate his leadership early in this event, but we need to open the economy, and I think we can. I mean, looking at all these protests and riots, people are hand in hand,
Right.
They're breathing on each other.
It's all gone.
They're attacking DPS troopers at the Capitol. So we will look at Chapter 418. I can't promise you what will happen with 181 legislators. Contact tracing. I know many of you have been concerned about that. Senator Nichols and I have publicly, I think I was one of the first to do so, but we have publicly come out against the contract. It's like a $300 million contract. And it's contact tracing. And contact tracing is you have a private discussion with your doctor, and information somehow filters up to some type of state database, and then they're informing people. It's just not something I think we need to do. I've been told with our local doctors, they already have something like that. They can already do that. What many of us in the Texas legislature are concerned about, listening to you, is the centralization of this with a private vendor. Okay, and not knowing where the information is going, and it's a government program, some are wrong. We tell you, you don't have to worry about it. It's all voluntary. But what Senator Nichols says with this emergency statute, and if the governor says, hey, I know I told you it was voluntary, but guess what? It's October, it's getting bad.
That was then, this is now.
That was in, this is now. We don't think that'll happen, but we can't go on what we think will happen. We have to go on what the Constitution says and what our people are telling us.
So the only thing you can do is lobby the governor.
right now,
We do have a protest, but we're getting away with
yeah,
all
right.
Yeah.
But look, I'm serious about this. I really think the governor really needs to hear from more grassroots Republicans.
Tell us what is the best way to do it.
I think writing him, he has something where you type something in and it hits enter and it goes. I think he needs to hear more from grassroots Republican leaders and business people, okay? Because again, I think he's looking at some data points and I can't dispute them. I know my chairman will, but I can't dispute them because it's one, I mean, it's kind of consistent. And I think what the governor is hearing is that, he's maybe going too fast. Mr. Perez, I'm just telling you, he's going too fast. I'm just looking at this, and I think that's what he's seeing, okay? I know his staff got irritated with me this morning because I have cities calling me, asking me, should I do a July 4th parade and event? I see someone taping me, so I won't say some things. Maybe I will say them. But
You need me to cut it off?
I think you ought to just go ahead and have your July 4th events. Okay. I have a colleague in Eastland County, Mike Lane. I think his county is going to give me about any ideas, but I think his county is going to come out and call themselves a sanctuary county and say that all businesses, all activities are essential, and other counties are to follow.
Right.
And I'm not lobbying any county to do that. I mean, you know, counties need to make up their own mind. But so, look, we'll get through this. This is just a new situation, and we got to go in and look at some situations that we never thought would have happened. I wasn't in the legislature in 1975. I think I was in Little League, and no one would have thought that we would have had an entire state in a state of disaster, and it would be a real pandemic, and all of this going on. Okay, so yes, sir.
I have another question. I know the governor has other people pending his ear.
Yes.
And at one time, they were talking about the chip. You didn't hear about that?
Talking about what?
If
The
you
chip.
get a vaccination, you get a chip.
Okay, we'll research that. We're not for any mandatory vaccinations, any of that type of things. Okay, no, we're not for any of that.
The governor is.
Well, let me check that out, will you? I mean, this is on video, so let me check that out. I haven't seen that. A chip?
Yeah,
It's approved you've been vaccinated. It's not just here, we're doing it in other places.
Okay, let me confirm that, because that.
That's your buddy Bill Gates program.
Okay, but look, I'm gonna kind of sit down on that one.